Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Get this video out there. We got a really good show tonight. Good evening, Patriots. Welcome to the Ryan Samuel Show. We are here and we are live, and we have a very big show today for you. If you're listening on the podcast, do not forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. We depend on you to get the show out there. There's very little marketing that goes on. There's actually you could make the argument that there is zero marketing, which is pretty awesome that we can get this done without punching a bunch of money into it. A lot of guys in this business, they throw a ton of money into their show just to get people to watch it. Our organic following is definitely great, so we appreciate all of you. I thank you. My family thanks you. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. We got people piling in from all over the place, and we got a good show tonight. We're going to do some updates about some things that are going on with the assassin, Tyler Robinson, who killed Charlie Kirk at the UVU campus. We also have updates on Luigi Mangione. Now, if you don't recall, he is the gentleman that murdered the CEO of United Healthcare on a New York City street. A lot of similarities there. People celebrating, cheering, which again is still happening today. And then we're going to talk about Kash Patel going toe-to-toe, head-to-head, completely annihilating and destroying members of the United States Senate. We got clips. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Drop a comment down below. Let's get this party rocking.
Hey, Ryan. Hi, this is Sarah Palin.
Ryan, Donald Trump Jr.
Harsh to win, see you. Hey, everybody, I want y'all to check out a fellow Marines podcast.
My name is Ted Nugent, and I got a call from my buddy Ryan F. Samuels, and he wants me to tell you that he's a working hard, playing all-American son of a who is celebrating God, family, country.
Welcome to the Ryan Samuel Show, one of the top political podcasts in the United States, where we have a healthy distrust for government and mainstream media. The Ryan Samuel Show is a raw, unfiltered look at American politics. Follow on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Rumble, and all podcast platforms. Here is your host, Ryan Samuels.
Okay, so we're going to start off today. We're going to do some updates about this assassin. Now, we have done nothing but cover this since the day it happened on September 10th. It is now the 16th. It has been 6 days. And this is important because this is some stuff that we have been predicting that was happening, that we have discussed that was happening, and then it finally happened. We have seen the left, particularly prominent members of the left, celebrate this. We have seen members of the right call for free speech reform. It's chaos. It is chaos, and we're standing firm. We're standing firm here at this show. I think a lot of members of the Republican Party are standing firm. We're going to talk about Pam Bondi today and some comments that she had made, and the text messages between the killer and the killer's boyfriend. Yes, I'm going to refer to the killer's boyfriend as a boyfriend because that's exactly what it is. The trans ideology is delusional, and when you affirm delusion, you make people more psychotic. Yes, I'm not sugarcoating it anymore. One of the great political minds of our time is dead because of this ideology. So we're going to start by this report. We're going to talk about these messages that were caught between them. But let's look at this report from ABC.
We have seen an alleged murder with such specific text messages about the alleged murder weapon, where it was hidden, how it was placed, what was on it, but also it was very touching in a way that I think many of us didn't expect.
Very touching. The text messages between Tyler Robinson and his boyfriend, who we're going to go over the messages. They're definitely suspicious. Don't go anywhere. Stay on. Do not leave. We're going to break this story right here. But this news reporter from ABC has to say that they're discussing the murder of Charlie Kirk, and they didn't expect it to be so touching. What?
Very intimate portrait into this relationship between the suspect's roommate and the suspect himself, with him repeatedly calling his roommate, who is transitioning, calling him my love, and I want to protect you, my love. So it was this duality of someone who the attorney said not only jeopardized the life of Charlie Kirk and the crowd, but was doing it in front of children, which is one of the aggravating circumstances of this case. And on the other hand, he was, speaking so lovingly about his partner. So a very interesting and, as Pierre said, riveting press conference, David.
It was tough.
Touching. The touching love between these two members of the LGBTQ plus community. Of course, ABC has to do that. Of course, ABC has to go out there and still, like, they haven't gotten the memo that this agenda is completely freaking insane. Here is, I'm trying to zoom in here. I'm going to bring it in so you can see what I'm doing, and it's not working, but I'll be able to read it for you. But this is the Discord messages. So I had mentioned this the day that the assassination had happened. They had talked about that the suspect was communicating with somebody about the rifle and a towel. And I said, well, then there's some sort of confession there, right? If they were texting somebody. And I want to thank Kash Patel. He's doing a phenomenal job, the head of the FBI. Dan Bongino, who's a little bit more behind the scenes. He's not out. He's not really the public face, but man, these guys are killing it. They're being very transparent. I do not give a crap what anybody says. They're doing a phenomenal job. Here is the messages. After reading this note, the roommate responded, what? With like 10 question marks. You're joking, right? With 4 question marks. I'm still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I got to grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I'm sorry to involve you. First of all, this is not how 22-year-olds speak to each other, right? I don't know. I could be completely wrong. This is just, preface this. This is speculation on my point, right? I don't know. It seems scripted. Now, you could take that one of two ways. One way you can take it is, hey, the FBI put out a fake script to pin this guy, the murder on this guy, so that they could protect Israel, or whatever freaking cockamamie conspiracy you have. The government is not that competent. I'll tell you that right now. They're not that smart to pull this crap off and keep that secret. But could this person, Tyler Robinson, and their roommate have kind of staged this to protect the roommate since he's avenging her honor or his honor. You weren't the one who did it, right? I am. I'm sorry. I thought they caught the person. No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone with similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from the drop warrant shortly after, but most of that side of town got looked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. Why? Why did I do it? Yeah. I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about finding it. How long have you been planning this? Who asked that question? How long, in the moment you find out, how long have you been planning this? Who asked, like, is that the question that you ask? You just realize this person murdered somebody. And you're going to ask the question, how long have you been planning this? You wouldn't be freaked out and maybe leave the house like, oh my God, is this person going to come here and try to kill me now? I need to cut off communication. I need to call the police. I need to notify people that this person did this. This guy's own father called the police and notified them, but the roommate didn't? It's suspicious. It's definitely suspicious. How long have you been planning this? A bit over a week, I believe, Robinson says. I believe. I can't get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The effing messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notice bulge on Fox News, I might have a stroke. A stroke, all right. I'm gonna have to leave it. That really effing sucks. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think that was a $2,000 scope. Okay, if you carved bullets to send a message. You didn't carve the bullets so that nobody would ever find them or see them. You didn't do that for yourself. Then Robinson says, delete this exchange. My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it is very unique. He's calling me. I'm not answering. So it sounds like that the feds released a photo of the rifle, and the dad looked at it and said, oh, my God, that's my father's rifle that I gave to my son, or my son got from my grandfather. So he's asking him to send pictures of it now. He's saying, take pictures of the rifle and show me that it's at your house. Since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of the neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. You are all I worry about, love. I'm much more worried about you, is what the roommate said. And I love how they're calling it the roommate. That's just a little suspicious to me. And I could just be completely crazy, but sometimes your gut just tells you that, I don't know. That's not what I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Why on God's green earth would you have a conversation like that? It doesn't, I don't get it. I don't get it. You're admitting it all in text. You were smart enough to get in there undetected, to get out undetected, and you're not smart enough to just keep your mouth shut. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. More news has come out about the original individual that was arrested at the scene. Let's watch this clip.
Him or not.
This is the original person that was arrested. His name is George Zinn. Turns out he did not do anything, but now George Zinn has said that he was yelling out that he shot Charlie Kirk so that he could help the police, so that he could help the shooter get away. Think about that. He was there. He said that he was trying to help the shooter, the murderer, the killer get away, somebody he didn't know. So they're going to be looking into him. He was charged with obstruction of justice charges. There's also 20 other people that were on the Discord chat that that are under investigation as well, because there's a lot of other messages that were sent in through Discord with that app with the roommate and 20 other people that somebody had to have known this was coming, is what we're hearing. That somebody had to either know that this was coming or be involved in it, and he's taking the rap for himself. That's what those text messages sound to me. Again, it's pure speculation. I have no freaking idea. I have no clue. For all I know, that's a friggin' an AI generated meme that somebody threw out, and everybody's friggin' piling on. But from the best of my knowledge, that is certified. It's been on news outlets. I'm 99.9% confident that has officially come from the FBI. But the language just doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense. Here's Jimmy Kimmel giving his monologue on the situation.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the...
There is zero, I mean, not a shred of evidence or even circumstantial evidence to suggest that this kid was part of MAGA, the MAGA movement, or a conservative of all, a middle-of-the-road conservative, or even a left-of-center Democrat. There is substantial evidence showing that this kid is a far-right freaking lunatic. But Jimmy Kimmel, these people do not live inside of reality. Let's listen to more.
Finger pointing. There was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?
Shameful. But it's what is left of this shell of an organization. It's a shell of an organization that's left. Now, Gavin Newsom, he just keeps fanning the flames. This is him. He's saying that this is code red. We need to wake up to what is going on. That's what Gavin Newsom is saying. Let's listen.
This is code red. We all need to wake up to what's going on. And maybe, in final words, maybe I'm saying that from the prism of being a governor of a state where I watched the military asserting themselves to try to take over for domestic policing, where I watched this private army that is the most funded private army of its type anywhere in the world, with ICE out there in masks, intimidating people and their free expression of speech. Maybe it's because I'm sitting here where the UC regions are meeting tomorrow to discuss a $1.9 billion extortion fine because institutions of higher learning and independent thinking are under assault by Donald Trump.
We're under attack. We're under assault. Listen to the language. Under attack, under assault. We need to wake up. The military is taking over our streets. What are you supposed to do? What's the reaction to that?
In my state, maybe it's through the prism of that, but I assure you, in every state in America, I assure you this is a preview of things to come.
Right. Dangerous. Danger. Threats to democracy. There's an assault. There's an assault. The Twitch streamer Destiny, yes, this is a grown man with a stripper's name. Elon Musk had removed from Twitch. Twitch is committed to keeping our community safe for everyone, and as a part of that, we require all users to ensure anything shared on their account abides by Twitch's terms of service and community guidelines. Based on our review, your activity content has we have issued a community guideline strike in your account due to the severe nature of this violation or the fact that you've incurred multiple violations. Your access to Twitch services is indefinitely restricted. Reason: hateful conduct, promoting, encouraging, or facilitating the discrimination or denigration of a group of people based on their protective characteristics. Example of violating include, but are not limited to, posting a combination of words and emotes in chat to promote denigration based on race. Praising or supporting a hate crime. Yes. Yes. He said that you deserve to die, this guy. And now that the left is getting a taste of their own medicine, this is what they did to us, but not for celebrating murders. That could be understood. That could definitely be understood. Charlie Kirk's assassin appeared in court today. He was led into a courtroom with a bulletproof vest on because they're afraid somebody's going to kill him, which is a likely scenario. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are very angry, very upset. I implore all of you to do nothing and do what Charlie Kirk would do. Charlie Kirk would not become violent. Charlie Kirk would encourage you to discuss and debate and out them for who they are, which is a bunch of freaking psychopathic maniacs who have no idea what they're talking about. And it takes about 3 seconds to trip them up in a conversation. They have no idea what they're talking about. Here is News Nation talking about the appearance of Tyler Robinson in court.
First court appearance, and there is something that stood out to you specifically. Tell me.
Yeah, I'm always looking for what people are wearing. Isn't that funny? But it matters when you make a public appearance as a high-profile defendant, whether you're wearing jail.
I hate when people say defendant. Defendant. It's defendant.
House orange scrubs, whether you're wearing this kind of a getup or whether you're wearing a suit that's brought in by your lawyers because you don't want to prejudice the jury pool. And the reason the jury pool would be prejudiced is because everybody's looking at this. When I looked at this shot, I was not expecting to see him in what I think is a suicide vest. And why does it matter that he's wearing a suicide vest? I think it plays into...
I don't even know what she means by a suicide vest. I have no idea what she's talking about.
What will likely be a diminished capacity effort based on whatever attorney he ends up having on record to say, look, you can't go after the death penalty for my client because he's crazy. Insane? Not a chance. He's never going to get an insanity defense mounted because he ran and said to his partner and love interest and roommate, I'm sorry, I was keeping it a secret. That means you know right from wrong. But this suicide vest, if it is what I think it is, and it does appear to be a suicide vest, means he's obviously very troubled and they think he's a danger to himself that will mount itself into its case in some way, I guarantee.
Yeah, I mean, he did tell his dad he'd rather kill himself than turn himself in. You have to be incredibly disturbed to do what he did.
What'd you make of him being essentially just emotionless there?
I don't expect anything less. There wasn't much asked of him. And I'm sure that if he has anybody advising him at this point, they would have just said, don't do anything. Don't be a hero. Don't try to make some sign to your followers. And by the way, Blake, I fully expect that this guy is going to have the same kind of following, not maybe as many or maybe as much money raised as Luigi Mangione, but I fully expect there will be those culture warriors who will jump on his bandwagon and say, free Tyler. And may I say for the record, before anybody throws peanuts at the screen, I say two things definitively at all times. Factually, definitively, murder is bad, puppies are cute. You can't argue either one. I don't care what your opinions. But those two things are real. Murder is bad. For anybody who thinks but belongs after the sentence, they don't belong in the conversation.
Correct.
Let me ask you about Luigi Mangione, because there was this terrorism charge, the state terrorism charge that was dropped, and you saw the celebration.
Yeah, so they dropped the Luigi Mangione, the charge of terrorism was dropped. Okay, so that was the highest charge that they had placed on him. It's very common for judges to sometimes throw these things out. What is not common is what we're seeing. I feel like I'm in a freaking Batman movie where the Joker's going around killing people and half the country is celebrating, or half of Gotham City is celebrating. This is absolutely insane. The charges were dropped and the streets erupted because this is the left. They support this kind of stuff.
Let's look at Mangione's supporter outside the courthouse today. They are cheering after the New York appellate court tossed out state-level terrorism charges. Watch this.
Luigi before fascist. Everybody's a fascist. Everybody is evil. Everybody is Nazi unless they are 100% in line with these people's brain pattern or the way that they think or the way that they present things. You are the worst person on earth unless you are 190% completely and utterly devoted to their cause and their mission. And they abuse the people around them and they bully them into this mentality. And it's disgusting.
Look at Mangione.
That's insane. That's insane. This guy literally just walked up to an innocent guy on the street and shot him in the back of the head. That's what he did. Capital murder. This is Luigi Mangione being let out through the cameras.
How you feeling, Luigi?
You would think just a normal guy. The freaking insanity that you have to go through to get to this level is astounding. But the celebration of this is motivating people to do it. If you don't think that Tyler Robinson, and the reason it's destroyed is because our federal government is way too involved. That's reality. We could spend a whole week of hour shows, 2-hour shows, 5 days of a series, 10 hours of that subject because it's very complex. But I could understand that. You had, some of you had a grandmother who had cancer, insurance wouldn't cover certain things and she may still be alive. Or you yourself had experiences where you got sick and they wouldn't cover it and you kind of had to come out of pocket and they're making billions of dollars. That I had a connection to. That I could connect the dots. I still disagreed and I said you shouldn't be celebrating it. But two things can be true at the same time. Yes, our freaking healthcare system is healthcare insurance system. Actually, our hospital system is one of the best in the world, but our insurance system is what is flawed. Our insurance system is why when you go to the hospital, an aspirin costs $50, just one aspirin, right? But I could understand. This I don't understand. Charlie Kirk did nothing but speak to people. He never hurt anybody. You could make the argument the CEO indirectly hurt people. So that I kind of understood. The Charlie Kirk thing, I did not anticipate the insane celebrations. Here is this clown who at his memorial in Arizona decided to run across it and just trample on everything. One of the guys threw him off of it. Bunch of guys started kicking the crap out of him. And my response to that is good. 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 He's wearing the same shirt that Tyler Robinson was wearing on the day that he killed Charlie Kirk. The police immediately arrest this individual. I mean, you never freaking know, man. You don't know. He could have a gun. He could have shot all these people at this memorial. These people are insane. Look at him. He's wearing the same shirt that Tyler Robinson was wearing. He's wearing who wears Vans? Sorry for all the Vans people out there. It's a joke I have with some people I know. But yeah. This is him being brought over to the patrol car. Patting them down again. Very good job by these police officers. Celebrating. Celebrating. For a guy who just used the Socratic method and asked questions. His name is Ryder Coral. Trampled and kicked and spit on Charlie Kirk's memorial. This is the society that we're living in. And I'm trying not to be cynical. Every night on the show, I'm trying to move on to this thing, but it just keeps coming. They are relentless. They are relentless. And we just have to know it. We have to out it. We have to know who they are. We have to know what they represent. We have to discuss it. Here is the Fox News report. Let's listen. And the video is not working. Can we see if we can get that going? So the notion that this wasn't the left or that the left is stable is just it's out the window. It's gone forever, and we're never going to be able to go back to where we are peaceful with these people on the far left. Far left, I'm saying. I'm not saying the normal ones. I will tell you, Cenk from the Young Kirks and Anna have really impressed me through this whole thing. And I have a whole new respect for Cenk. Now, one thing that is different about the Republican Party and the Republican Party today is we have been consistent on our free speech, and we don't want anybody touching it. Recently, Pam Bondi came out. I'm going to get this for you. And Pam Bondi said some things that had the whole entire Republican Party up in frickin' arms. If you've been watching this show, you know that I am not a huge fan of Pam Bondi. This is why. Because Pam Bondi is not a traditional Republican. Pam Bondi is an overreaching attorney general. She always has been. She believes in taking your gun rights away without due process. She believes the same thing that the Democrats believe, and that there is a difference between hate speech and free speech. There is no difference. Let's listen.
There's free speech, and then there's hate speech.
No, there's just speech. There's just speech. Who defines what hate speech is? Because according to the left side of the aisle, if you say DEI is improper and I don't like it, they consider that hate speech. So then that's separate. So she just separated that from free speech, which means your First Amendment right is no longer protected. You can say everything and anything you want. Okay. Now, the famous Supreme Court case, which drives me nuts because people just completely misinterpret it when they say, well, yeah, Ryan. Yeah, of course. I've had people on the show too. Yeah, Ryan. Of course, you can't yell fire in a crowded movie theater. Yes, you can. You can yell fire in a crowded movie theater. There's no law against that. If somebody gets hurt, then you can be liable. If somebody gets hurt because you're frustrated and you're yelling at a microphone that somebody should shoot the president and you incite a riot or you incite violence, you could be held accountable for that, right? But there's no, like you can't distinct between free speech or hate speech. There's only speech. Notice how there's speech after the word hate. So if there's free speech, how can you categorize hate speech? You're playing with definitions, which is what the left does.
And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle.
That's 1984 crap. That's Big Brother's watching you. Don't speak up. Oh, nope. Oh, you don't like Donald Trump? Hey, yeah, listen, that's hate speech. Hey, nope. There's been a lot of violent acts, and we need to be careful about the violent acts and the rhetoric. It's no. And then the right immediately came out and shut it down. Immediately came out. Twitter was lit up like, Pam Bondi, you're an idiot. We all know Pam Bondi's an idiot. She was not obviously our first choice. Matt Gaetz was. And if Matt Gaetz was in this position, this administration would be 10 times stronger. Pam Bondi is incompetent.
That's horrific. It's free speech, but you shouldn't be employed anywhere if you're going to say that. And employers, you have an obligation to get rid of people. You need to look at people who are saying horrible things, and they shouldn't be working with you. Businesses cannot discriminate. If you want to go in and print posters with Charlie's pictures on them for a vigil, you have to let them do that. We can prosecute you for that. I have Harmeet
No.
Dillon right now in our civil rights unit looking at that immediately, that Office Depot had done that. We're looking at that. But Sean,
No, that's, Pam, that's the same thing as going after a bakery because they won't bake the cake for a gay wedding. Remember that famous case about this gay couple that came in and said, "Hey, we want a but we want to bake a cake for our wedding. We need a wedding cake." And they were like, "Nah, dude, we don't believe in gay marriage. We're not supporting that. Just go get your cake somewhere else." And it was this huge thing, and the federal government came down, and this bakery went out of freaking business. As a private business in a free country, you, as a free inhabitant of the United States, have the inherent right to refuse service to anybody you want. It is your business. It is your property. It is the same as refusing somebody in your home. Okay? That's the reality of it. But when politicians get involved to appease fringe voters, these are the things that come about. So now, with that precedent set, now Pam Bondi, anybody who doesn't like Donald Trump, oh yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that's the way it's going to go. I do like this administration. I don't think it's going to go that way. But what about the person that comes after Donald Trump? What about the person? What about if AOC and Bernie Sanders get elected? You think they're gonna? If you get a sign in your window that says, "Hey, we love capitalism," is that all of a sudden now hate speech? Is that all of a sudden now? Oh, whoa, no, these businesses shouldn't be fit. And that's the problem. That's the problem with it, and she should frickin' know better if she knew the basic civics 101. Just basic civics, basic civil liberties for United States citizens, basic natural law theory, Thomas Aquinas, St. Augustine, John Locke, Thomas Jefferson. If she knew the basic premise of Judeo-Christian law in the United States of America, she would understand that. But no, she's the Attorney General of the United States of America. We don't like Pam Bondi. We don't claim Pam Bondi. She was here when I was in Florida, and she got on my nerves then. But the Attorney General of the city in Utah came out where Charlie Kirk was murdered and announced the charges. Let's listen to this.
The murder of Charlie Kirk is an American tragedy. Charlie Kirk was murdered while engaging in one of our most sacred and cherished American rights, the bedrock of our democratic republic, the free exchange of ideas in a search for truth, understanding, and a more perfect union. It is also an offense against the state and to the peace and enjoyment of the people of Utah and of all those who visit here. But Charlie Kirk's murder also strikes a more personal and intimate chord. Charlie Kirk was first and foremost a husband and a father to two beautiful young children. He was a son, he was a brother, and a friend. Like all murders, the senseless and needless taking of Charlie Kirk's life has shattered the lives of those he loved and those who loved him. To Charlie's wife, Erica, his two young children, his parents, his family, and his friends, I express my sincere condolences and offer my heartfelt prayers on your behalf. I also want to express my concern for everyone who was at Charlie's Turning Point USA event at the As county attorney, I am charged with bringing justice to those who offend our laws. I am charged with bringing justice for those who are harmed. I am charged with bringing justice for Charlie Kirk. I am committed to these aims. I take this responsibility seriously. Today, after reviewing the evidence that law enforcement has collected thus far, I am filing a criminal information charging Tyler James Robinson, age 22, with the following crimes. Count 1, aggravated murder, a capital offense, for intentionally or knowingly causing the death of Charlie Kirk under circumstances that created a great risk of death to others. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony. The state is further alleging aggravating factors on counts 1 and 2 because the defendant is believed.
What I want to see is a hate crime charge. They didn't do it, but that they never do it in these scenarios. If the Democratic Party was in charge and this was Al Sharpton and they killed him for his political philosophy, there would have been a hate crime charge. There would have been a civil rights violation, which Charlie Kirk, it's the same situation. It's just backwards. It's the same situation. It's still a hate crime. You hated him because of his political views and his religious stance. That's what you hated.
Believed to have targeted Charlie Kirk based on Charlie Kirk's political expression and did so knowing that children were present and would witness the homicide. The state is also charging defendant with count 3, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for moving and concealing the rifle used in the shooting. Count 4, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for disposing the clothing he wore during the shooting. Count 5, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to delete his incriminating texts. Count 6, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to stay silent if police questioned him. And count 7, commission of a violent offense in the presence of a child, a Class A misdemeanor, for committing homicide knowing that children were present and may have seen or heard the murder and did so based on Charlie Kirk's political expression.
He keeps saying that, but they're not charging him with a hate crime. And what they're doing is they are going, sounds like maybe they're teeing up the federal government to step in and hit him with a hate crime. So, but we got to move on to the next topic here. Kash Patel went before Congress today. He's going to be again tomorrow, so we'll see. Pencil Neck got completely and utterly annihilated by Kash Patel. And this is why Kash Patel is a freaking legend. Let's watch this.
Want the American people to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
No. I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of inmates.
Not in the weeds?
What I am doing is protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating the weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you. And we have countlessly proven you to be a liar in Russiagate, in January 6th. You are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward.
I'm not.
Yeah, Adam Schiff lied about Russiagate, lied about January 6th, pushed this whole freaking agenda for the Biden administration. Kash Patel has released evidence that they're lying, and why Adam Schiff is not in handcuffs, I do not understand for the life of me. Maybe because it was referred to Pam Bondi and she can't friggin' figure it out.
Surprised.
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best.
Well, you can take an internet troll.
Take it to the bank that the FBI is protecting this country and the state and citizens of California. We are bringing historic reform.
Point of order.
But all you care about is a child sex predator that was prosecuted by a prior administration, and the Obama Justice Department and the Biden Justice Department did squat. And what did President Trump do? Bring new charges courageously. And what have we done?
Chairman,
you said I'm the most transparent FBI director in history. 33,000 pages of information to you. I challenge you to say anything credibly to the truth. Go ahead and run to the cameras where you want to go now.
Both of you be quiet.
God, that's so good. That's like what I want to say to Adam Schiff. But he was very professional about it. Adam Schiff, I mean, what did Adam Schiff expect? Why would you poke the frickin' bear like that? You know they have you dead to rights, and you're still going to sit there and try to get, like, you're an idiot.
Before I go to Senator Tillis, without objection, I want to introduce into the record the Durham Annex. The Durham Annex is a declassified appendix to John Durham's report about Crossfire Hurricane.
It's freaking insane. I don't get it. I really do not get it. What the heck Adam Schiff was thinking. But man, he got freaking annihilated. It wasn't even fair. All right, let's listen to this other exchange. We got a whole bunch of videos.
4 hours of Mr. Kirk's shooting. We had the guy that does the podcast for the War Room and another guy who's denied the Sandy Hook shootings say we're at war. Now, how on earth, and I do believe...
He's talking about Alex Jones and... man, I can't think of his name right now. What is wrong with you, Ryan? But what they did is they came out and they basically said, we're at war. Okay. Yeah, Charlie Kirk was shot by a far left extremist. At the Charlie Kirk murder scene yesterday, somebody planted a bomb under a Fox News van. Donald Trump had 2 assassination attempts against him from a far left extremist. Both far left extremists. They're hunting us. That's what's happening. And this guy wants to say, oh, well, your response to the far left trying to kill you is inappropriate. You saying we are at war is what is stoking the fires, not acknowledging the reality of the situation.
It's a smaller number, but it's a number that has an influence. How on earth are we de-escalating the situation? And with the tensions as high as they were last week, with going out and saying we're at war. I'm not asking you to respond to this question. I'm just saying that there are people out here on our side of the aisle that still need to look in the mirror. Even if you agree that it's a lower number, bad is bad no matter how many numbers they are. And that kind of rhetoric and that kind of mobilization makes your job more difficult and puts us in a position where we're not being as productive as you want the FBI and state and local law enforcement to be. Within 24...
Steve Bannon is his name, and that just came in my head. I did not look that up, I promise. But I mean, are we saying that they're wrong? That we don't feel that the right is under attack from the left? That's wrong to say? That's wrong to feel that way? Explain that to me. Explain that to me. So here's Kash Patel revealing some new information. Let's listen to this.
It's done in this investigation. Is the FBI investigating the Kirk assassination as part of this broader pattern of anti-religious, anti-Christian violence?
We are investigating Charlie's assassination fully and completely, and running out every lead related to any allegation of broader violence, and we're producing results on that we'll disclose when appropriate.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Let me just ask you a few questions about that, if I could. Sure. Reports have suggested that the FBI is investigating a broader network of groups that may have had some knowledge of the shooter's plans. Can you give us any details on that, following up what you already said in public? How's the FBI working to find other potential accomplices, folks who may have known about the shooter's plans, folks who may have encouraged him? Any update on any of that?
So in terms of what we do for an interrogation perspective, we go and reach out to the family and community immediately. And we've conducted those investigations and interrogations with local law enforcement, and we're continuing to do that because those closest to the suspect are going to hopefully know the most about the suspect and his beliefs and his ideology. On top of that, unfortunately, it has been leaked that there was a Discord chat, and for those unfamiliar with it, it's a gaming chat room online that the suspect.
Let me explain something to you about leaks. A lot of leaks are intentional. All right. So before this shooting, Donald Trump had an agenda about the far left extremists, particularly about going after George Soros. This is where politics come in. So as a politician, they're not lying about the situation with Charlie Kirk, but they reveal the situation to be exactly what they've been saying it is, and put in the eyes of the American people like, hey, we really need to go after these people and stop this. So they get a leak. Or maybe it's a real leak. I don't know. You're never going to know. I'm not going to sit here and speculate. I just know that sometimes that's how it works, okay? Because the FBI definitely has the ability to find out where a leak came from, especially a piece of paper.
Participated in. So what we're doing, we've already done, is sort of legal process, not just on Discord, so that the information we gathered is sustained and held in a evidentiary posture that we could use in prosecution should it be decided to do so. And we're also going to be investigating anyone and everyone involved in that Discord chat.
Okay, very good. I see the public reports that the Discord thread had as many as 20 additional users. It sounds like you're trying to run down all of that to see if that's accurate, who else may have been on that thread, what they may have known. Is that fair to say?
It's a lot more than that, and we're running them all down.
It's a lot more than 20?
Yes, sir.
And you're running all of that to ground?
Every single one.
Yeah, fantastic. Let me just turn to the broader question here of anti-religious, anti-Christian violence.
That's the end of the video. But yeah, I mean, listen, this is an ideology that has chat rooms of echo chambers that they bounce off each other. And they show gruesome photos and gruesome ideas until one of these nut jobs gets the idea to impress their friends. And that's what you had here. And I think that chat between him and his roommate, it seems staged. We'll find out. The FBI will crack them, I'm sure. It's not going to be a hard thing to do. Let's listen to Kash Patel. I believe this was his opening statement.
That rant of false information.
No, this is his response.
Does not bring this country together. If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is my
I follow
time.
you on your social media posts that
It
tear
is my
this country
time
apart.
This is Padilla. He's a nutcase.
There should be a unifying.
Oh, you
can try all
to the
you
division
want
in this country.
to not take
It is
responsibility
my time.
for what
You
you
had
have
your
said.
time.
Sir, you're
Your
making
time
a
is
mockery of this
over.
committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over.
You
The
know how
people
far
of New
we've
Jersey
come
tell me
since
what
you
my
tell
time
me.
is. You can't lecture me.
You can tell me
Sir,
my time's over?
You may be the charge of the
I'm
FBI,
not going anywhere.
but I am not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman.
Not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Senator Booker, I announced at the beginning of this meeting that this back and forth talking over each other doesn't work. And I said if that happened, I asked Patel not to respond, and I was going to give him some time after the senator's time was up to respond. And he has the privilege to do that.
He don't take no crap. He doesn't take any crap. Here's another clip.
To what you said before the grand jury,
to whatever was released. Under my understanding, Senator, that the Department of
hold
Justice
on. You and I both
released.
understand the law. Let me finish. I understand under Rule 6 of the Federal Rules of Procedure, a grand jury witness, in this case you, is not barred from sharing their grand jury testimony. This is an oversight hearing. This is germane to your integrity and credibility. You know right now whether or not you testified that President Trump declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Why are you refusing to answer that simple yes or no question right now?
Because the premise of your question is inaccurate, and
There is no premise to my question, but trying to get to an order of what is truth or not.
How do you How do you know what was asked in the grand jury if you weren't there?
Mr. Patel, this
I love this
is a mockery
smile. I love this smile, the admission of I just got friggin' owned.
Making of this hearing and simple questions.
It's a simple question. If you have
Mr.
a
Patel,
transcript,
during
you can
your
read the
nomination,
question, but you don't have
hearing,
it.
you promised that, quote, all FBI employees will be protected against political retribution. When I asked you, are you aware of any plans or discussions to punish in any way, including termination, FBI agents or personnel associated with the Trump administration?
That's the end of that video. That's the problem. You get all these little tiny clips, but I think Kash Patel, he helped his case. I think he's a great pick. Here he is. This lady is basically calling him misogynistic because women have to do pull-ups.
Move on to my
Miss Hirano.
You know, you've been asked some questions about changes to your hiring standard, and including college degrees and possibly the age. But, you know, one question I had is, that you are now requiring applicants to be able to do a certain kind of pull-ups, which a lot of women cannot because of physiological differences. Are you requiring...
Oh my God, because of physiological differences. Are you making sure women are physically fit? How dare you, sir? How dare you make sure women are physically fit to be police officers?
These kinds of pull-ups?
We are requiring a physical program at BFTC at Quantico because FBI agents carrying guns in the field have to chase down bad guys and do really hard work. The physical fitness standards of those agents
So
are
are
being
you requiring
appropriately
these
assessed.
kinds of pull-ups?
We are requiring everybody to pass the 1811 standards at BFTC. If you want to chase down a bad guy and put him in handcuffs, you better be able to do a pull-up.
The reason I ask is that there are concerns about whether
Look how
or
annoyed
not
he is.
being able to do these kinds of harsh pull-ups is really required of FBI agents.
Doing
Anyway,
one pull-up
Mr.
is not
Patel,
harsh,
I
and there are
am
always
greatly
medical
concerned.
exemptions to that.
I'm
He's like so frustrated. He's reorganizing his desk, but he's right. You can't be a friggin' cop and going out and fighting people, and if you can't do a pull-up or have some sort of physical fitness requirement. Like, what are you talking about? But this is my God, the planet that they live in. The planet that they freaking live in is insane. Today on the Charlie Kirk show, yesterday we saw JD Vance. Today, the team at Daily Wire came on to the Charlie Kirk show to pay tribute to Charlie Kirk. This is going to be an ongoing theme with Charlie Kirk's chair sitting empty. Let's listen to this, just a little dialogue.
I know we at Daily Wire, we trust you at TPUSA to do it. I mean, that's really the answer. We're willing to provide, and we are providing, any level of material support, any level of support on the ground, boots on the ground, helping you to do what Charlie would have wanted to be done here. And I think that the reason that everybody trusted Charlie, the reason we're all mourning Charlie, is because nobody did it better. You spelled out two of Charlie's goals. You said, you know, he wanted to bring people back to Christ and bring people back to church and back to biblical values. And he wanted to keep the MAGA coalition together.
And expand it.
And the question is how you do that. And the answer is you focus on the first, and the second is a byproduct. Okay, the answer is that, as Matt says, you have to unite around something. And yeah, we can unite in the short term around the fact that there are a bunch of people who hate our guts and want to murder us, which of course is true. But long-term unity big movement change, which is what Charlie was really trying to drive, and why he went to talk to people who disagree, is about building around those core values. And so the long-term vision, yeah, we'll have our petty squabbles, and yeah, some of those squabbles will be more than petty, but the long-term vision has to be built around those original biblical conservative values that Charlie stood for, things like the Bible, things like free markets, things like family, all those things are things Charlie stood for. You got to build the coalition around values, because we can't build it around the man, but we can build it around the values that he left behind and that he spent his entire life fighting for. And, we couldn't be, frankly, more honored to join you guys as much as we can in the fight.
Thank you for that, and thank you for donating the Daily Wire $1 million, breaking news on this show. Thank you guys for honoring Charlie so well today. God bless you.
The conservative movement is about to see a powerhouse that you have never seen in the history of the United States of America. The killing of Charlie Kirk has lit a fire under every conservative's ass in the entire country. And there is a reckoning coming for the libs. It's a reckoning that they're not going to be able to handle. They're going to be systematically removed from government because of their behavior and how just insane and idiotic they are. The Turning Point USA has tripled its size. I know my viewership has tripled. We used to do about 4 million views a week, now doing about 15 million. Okay? Thousands of downloads. London, I hear you and I see you. I see London. I get my charts. I get the statistics, and I see London is now taking Germany's spot as the #2 country. We had thousands of downloads from London. We understand what's going on there. We want you guys to be able to speak freely without persecution. We're on it, okay? And we're here to help you with anything that you need. Any tips, any stories, you send them to me. Go to ryanfsamuels.com. While you're there, don't forget to sign up for the newsletter. Get your swag at ryanfsamuels.com/shop. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button, and we will see you tomorrow.
Thanks for tuning in to The Ryan Samuels Show. Don't forget to like, share,